The market is up 40 points, which means that no incremental big moves or anything of that sort. Now, the government has responded to the Supreme Court suggestion for an expert panel, has filed an affidavit only for judges. Ashmit is here with details. This is, of course, with regards to the Adani-Hindenburg case. Ashmit, over to you.
Well, previously, when the Supreme Court took up the matter for hearing, that is the time when the Supreme Court had expressed concerns about lakhs of crores of investor wealth that was wiped out, and subsequently went on to suggest an expert committee that will lead, that will review, as well as suggest improvements to the current framework for investor protection. Now, it is in response to that we understand the government has filed its response before the top court. But interestingly and importantly, this has been done in a sealed cover, so only the top officials at the Finance Ministry, the Solicitor General, and now the judges will be privy to contents of that letter, of that submission that has been put forth before the Apex Court. The question being asked by many is why in a sealed envelope? Well, in just the last hearing, the Solicitor General, appearing on behalf of the government, had expressed concerns that no potentially adverse signals should be sent to the global markets on account of this expert committee reviewing the current framework for investor protection. So that was a concern that was cited by the government. So on the back of that, what can we expect as a part of the sealed cover? Well, number one, the government is expected to argue to say that it is in fact open to the idea of an expert committee. However, with riders. What are these riders? That's number two. Number two is that the government is likely to argue and likely to submit as a part of this affidavit that the scope should be limited, should be very limited. The remit of this expert committee should be limited so as to not spook the global markets and the global investors. And the third is, it is likely to have suggested names of experts that can be considered as a part of this expert committee. That will essentially be the 3-point formula that will be put forth as a part of this government submission. But whether or not this will be made public, whether or not the government suggestions will be acted upon, and what the future course of action could look like, tomorrow holds the key. February 17th is when the Apex Court takes up this case for further hearing. And what's also interesting is that there's also a fresh application that is seeking a probe, not just into Adani on the corporate governance issues, but also into LIC and SBI on the back of their subscription to the FPO at significantly higher than market level. So these are issues that will be taken up for hearing tomorrow when the Apex Court takes up these petitions in the Adani-Hindenburg case. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. Need to get into a break. On the other side, we'll tell you what dealing rooms are saying in our segment D Street Chatter. We'll also tell you what you can buy today or sell today for a reverse call tomorrow.